Hello everyone. This is my real voice. No AI, no fake sound. On this channel, I share powerful sci-fi stories about humanity, space, war, hope, and survival. These stories are about humans standing strong when the universe turns dark. Going to be your narrator. If you enjoy real storytelling, real emotions, and epic sci-fi, subscribe, support the channel, and let's explore the stars together. Going to be your narrator. Now, let's get into today's story. For 200 years, Earth said nothing. No ships left the solar system. No signals. No messages. The galaxy watched, then forgot. To the great empires of the stars, humans were just a quiet memory. Primitive, broken, maybe even extinct. Too soft to survive, they said. Too weak to matter. But out in the cold dark, far beyond Pluto, something was waiting. It floated in the Oort cloud. Silent, dark, and huge. No lights. No engine glow. Just a shadow among shadows. No one saw it. No one even looked. Until today. A patrol of 3 scout ships from the Krell Empire moved slowly along the edge of human space. Their mission was simple. Check for old debris, log any signals, and report back. Boring work. Inside the lead ship, Captain Vex leaned back in his chair, laughing with his crew. Another empty sector, he said, sipping glowing blue juice from a metal cup. Just like the last 50. Humans? Gone. Dead. Or hiding in caves. His second-in-command, Rel, nodded. Good. Let them rot. They never belonged out here anyway. On the main screen, stars twinkled like cold eyes. Nothing moved. Nothing lived. Then, a tiny flicker. A ghost on the sensors. Sir, said the young tech officer, I'm getting a something. Very faint. Behind that ice comet. Vex rolled his eyes. Probably space dust. Or your machine acting up again. But the flicker stayed. For 3 seconds, the sensor showed a shape. Big, smooth, and impossible. Then it vanished. Must be a glitch, Vex said. Reset the system. The crew obeyed. The screen went clean. They never saw the warship. They never heard it. But it saw them. Deep in the darkness, the UNS Vanguard drifted like a sleeping dragon. Inside its command center, red emergency lights glowed softly. Men and women in dark gray uniforms stood at their posts. No one spoke. No one moved fast. They waited. At the center stood Captain Elias Holt. Oh, eyes like steel. He stared at the main screen, watching the 3 Krell ships move away. Were they scanning us? He asked. No, sir, replied Lieutenant Mara. They saw a blip, but they ignored it. Holt nodded. Good. Let them think we're ghosts. For 2 centuries, Earth had hidden. After the Great Silence Order, every human ship went dark. No radio. No travel. No contact. The galaxy believed humanity had collapsed after the resource wars. But Earth was not broken. It was preparing. While the empires fought each other, humans worked in secret. They studied crashed alien tech. They built new engines. Stronger armor. Smarter AIs. And cloaking fields so perfect, even the best scanners couldn't see them. The Vanguard was the first of its kind, a warship built not to fight, but to end wars before they began. But its time was coming. Sir, said Mara, voice low, the cloak is failing. A murmur ran through the bridge. Holt turned slowly. What do you mean? The outer layer. It's overheating. We've been cloaked for 18 months straight. The system can't cool itself out here. Holt looked at the star map. The Krell ships were gone. But more would come. Soon. He took a deep breath. How long do we have? Maybe 6 hours. Maybe less. Silence filled the room. Then Holt gave the order. Then we move. Now. Plot course to Neptune's orbit. Full stealth mode, but be ready to drop the cloak on my command. Yes, sir, the crew replied as one. No panic. No fear. Just duty. Outside, the Vanguard's engines hummed to life. So quietly, Not even dust would vibrate. It turned, smooth as a shark in deep water, and vanished into the black. Back on the Krell patrol ship, Vex yawned and ordered his crew to head home. "Waste of fuel," he muttered. "Next time, send drones." But as they turned, the young tech officer froze. "Sir, look." On the screen, far behind them, a single point of light flashed, blue, then white, then gone. Like a star being born and dying in 1 second. "What was that?" Vex asked, frowning. "I don't know," the officer whispered. "But it wasn't natural." Vex laughed again, but this time, it sounded nervous. "Probably just a dying star. Come on, let's go." They left. They never looked back. But in that moment, something changed. The galaxy still thought humans were weak. But deep in the void, a sleeping giant was waking up. And when it spoke, the stars would listen. 1 second, the Krell patrol fleet was laughing. The next, 3 ships were gone. No explosion. No warning. No distress call. Just silence. It happened near the ice rings of Neptune. 3 Krell warships, Razor, Storm, and Viper, were on routine patrol. Their orders: search for signs of human activity. They expected nothing. They found everything. At 14:03 Galactic time, all 3 ships vanished from the Alliance tracking grid. Sensors showed a sudden energy spike, brighter than a star for half a second, then nothing. No wreckage. No bodies. No signal. Just empty space. Inside the UNS Vanguard, Captain Holt stood with his arms crossed. On the main screen, 3 red dots blinked out one by one. "Targets neutralized," said Lieutenant Mara, her voice calm. "Any survivors?" Holt asked. "No, sir. Their systems shut down before they even knew they were hit." Holt nodded. "Good. We didn't want to kill. We wanted to send a message." The Vanguard had fired no weapons. No lasers. No missiles. Instead, it had sent a silent pulse, a new kind of energy wave built from human AI research. It didn't destroy ships. It disabled them. Shields failed. Engines froze. Life support shut down. All in less than 2 seconds. The Krell crews didn't scream. They didn't even have time to blink. One moment, they were talking about dinner. The next, darkness. Forever. Back at the Krell command station orbiting Mars, alarm screamed. "What do you mean, gone?" General Torv slammed his fist on the table. The officer trembled. "All 3 ships vanished near Neptune, sir. No crash. No enemy fire. It's like they just stopped existing." Torv's eyes narrowed. "Impossible. Nothing can wipe out 3 warships that fast." Then a new voice cut in. "It wasn't impossible, General." An old scientist, Dr. Kira, stepped forward. Her face was pale. This feels familiar." She pulled up old files, classified records from 150 years ago. After the resource wars, humans disappeared. But before that, we picked up strange energy readings from their solar system. We called it ghost tech. No one believed it was real. Torv laughed. "You think humans did this?" Kira didn't laugh. "I think they've been hiding something, and now they're done hiding." A cold silence filled the room. Then the comms officer shouted, "Sir, emergency broadcast from Sector 9." On screen, a new message played, clear, sharp, and spoken in perfect galactic standard. "Leave human space, or be erased." No name. No flag. Just those words, repeated 3 times. Then static. The room froze. Torv's face went white. "Find out who sent that. Now." Deep in the void, the Vanguard drifted again, cloaked, silent, watching. Captain Holt listened to the panic on enemy channels. "They're scared," Mara said. "They should be," Holt replied. But he knew this was only the beginning. The Krell wouldn't back down. Not after losing 3 ships. They'd send more. Bigger ships. Maybe even the Grand Fleet. And when they came, humanity would be ready. Not just the Vanguard, but the others, the hidden ones. the ones waiting in the dark. Meanwhile, on a quiet moon near Jupiter, a young Krell scout named Jax reviewed the last moments of the Razor. He found something strange. In the final 0.3 seconds of the ship's logs, the sensors picked up a shape, a massive, smooth hull, glowing faintly blue at the edges. And on its side, barely visible, was a symbol. A silver eagle, wings spread, over a planet with 7 rings. The old human emblem. Banned after the wars. Forgotten by everyone. Except humans. Jax's hands shook as he sent the image to his commander. His message was simple. It's them. They're back. On Earth, in a hidden bunker beneath the Pacific Ocean, the Human Defense Council watched the same broadcast. One man stood up. We showed them a warning, he said. Now they'll either run, or come to fight. Another woman smiled. Let them come. Outside, hidden shipyards opened beneath the sea. Doors slid open in deep craters on the moon. On Mars, buried factories powered up for the first time in a century. Humanity wasn't just awake. It was armed. Back on the Vanguard, Holt turned to his crew. They thought we were weak, he said quietly. Now they know the truth. He looked out the window at the endless stars. But this isn't about revenge. It's about survival. And maybe about respect. The ship turned slowly, vanishing once more into the dark. But this time, the galaxy would be watching. And next time, there would be no warning. The planet was dead. No air. No water. No life. Just dust, ruins, and silence. It used to be called Vexus 7, a research world for the old Galactic archives. But 80 years ago, during the border wars, it was hit by a plasma bomb. Now, only broken towers and melted metal remained. No one came here anymore. Except one person. Lyra Tan wasn't a soldier. She was a historian. Young. Smart. Too curious for her own good. She worked for the Krell Empire, but her heart never belonged to them. She believed in truth, not power. And she had just found something the galaxy tried to erase. Hidden in the ruins of Archive Vault Theta, behind 3 layers of corrupted firewalls, was a file labeled Project Titan, Human Origins, Classified, Earth Only. Her hands shook as she plugged in her data chip. The file opened. What she saw changed everything. It was a recording. Grainy. Old. But clear enough. A human scientist, face tired but proud, stood in a lab filled with strange machines. If you're watching this, we failed to keep the secret, he said. But maybe you'll understand why we hid. The video showed blueprints, massive warships with smooth black hulls, energy cores powered by mini-stars, cloaking fields that bent light itself. After the resource wars, Earth was broken, the scientist continued. But we didn't give up. We studied alien wrecks. We built better tech. We trained in secret. Project Titan wasn't about war. It was about survival. Then came the most shocking part. We went silent by choice. Not because we were weak, but because we were too strong. If the galaxy knew what we could do, they'd either try to destroy us, or enslave us to fight their wars. The video ended with one line. We are not gone. We are waiting. Lyra sat in the dark, tears in her eyes. Humans weren't primitives. They were ghosts with teeth. And now, they were awake. She knew what she had to do. But the moment she copied the file, alarms blared across the ruins. Red lights flashed. Her comms crackled. Lyra! Get out of there! Shouted her friend Kale from orbit. The Empire just flagged your location. They know you accessed a black-level file. I have to get this out, she whispered. Who will you send it to? She thought fast. There was only one place the Empire wouldn't look, Earth. But Earth didn't answer signals. Unless. She remembered the message from the warship. Leave human space. Or be erased. Maybe, just maybe, if she sent the truth toward human space, someone would listen. She uploaded the file to a tiny drone, no bigger than a fist, and set its course for the solar system. Then she ran. Outside, dust storms howled. Behind her, 3 Krell hunter ships dropped from the sky like hungry birds. They weren't here to arrest her. They were here to erase her. Lyra sprinted through the ruins, clutching her data pad. She ducked inside a collapsed tunnel, heart pounding. She knew she wouldn't make it to her ship. But the drone, it was already gone. Hidden in a data burst, mixed with old star maps, it flew silently into deep space. Her only hope. Her last act. On the UNS Vanguard, Lieutenant Mara suddenly sat up. "Captain, we just picked up an unmarked data pulse from Vexus 7. It's encrypted with old human codes." Holt turned. "Open it." The file loaded. The video played. The crew watched in silence. When it ended, Holt said, "So it's true. They tried to bury our history." Mara nodded. "But someone risked their life to send it back to us." Holt looked at the star map. Vexus 7 was burning. Krell ships were bombing the ruins. "She's dead," he said quietly. "But her message lives." He turned to his comms officer. "Send a reply. Not to her. To the whole galaxy." The officer typed fast. The message was short. "We remember. And we thank you." Then the Vanguard's engines hummed. It turned toward Vexus 7. Not to fight, but to honor. Back on the dead planet, Lyra hid in a metal vault as explosions shook the ground. She knew they'd find her soon. But she smiled. Because she had done it. The truth was out. And somewhere, in the dark, a human warship was listening. She whispered her last words into her recorder. "Tell them, humans are not monsters. They are guardians." Then the door exploded. Black Boots stepped inside. Lyra closed her eyes. But in space, far away, a tiny drone reached the edge of human territory. A sensor pinged. A human satellite locked on. And the file was received. That night, across the galaxy, rumors spread. A historian died on Vexus 7. She sent something to Earth. The human warship changed course. To go there. For the first time, people asked, what if humans aren't the enemy? What if they're the only ones who can stop what's coming? No one knew, but the truth was rising. Like a storm. Like a warship dropping its cloak. The warship didn't just attack. It spoke. And when it did, the whole galaxy listened. 4 days. Fear spread fast. 3 Krell ships gone. A secret file leaked. A dead historian. And now, a human warship moving freely near Vexus 7, where no human had been seen in 200 years. Everyone waited. Would it attack again? Would it vanish like a ghost? No one expected what came next. At exactly 3 o'clock Galactic time, every ship within 50 light-years received the same message. Not on a military channel. Not hidden in code. But on every open frequency. News, trade, emergency, even entertainment. The screen flickered. Then a voice filled the air. Strong. Human. People of the galaxy, it began. We are not your enemy. On the bridge of the UNS Vanguard, Captain Holt stood tall. His face appeared on screens across thousands of worlds, from crowded city hives to lonely mining stations. He wore no helmet, no mask, just a dark uniform and tired eyes that had seen too much. For 200 years, Earth stayed silent, he said. Not because we were weak, but because we chose peace over pride. Behind him, the stars burned cold and endless. You called us primitives. You laughed at our history. You assumed we were gone. He paused. But when your ships crossed into our space, when you treated our silence as surrender, we had to act. Then came the warning. Human space is ours. We ask only this. Stay out. Harm no human. Respect our borders. Do that, and you have nothing to fear. He looked straight into the camera. But if you come with weapons, you will not leave. The message ended. Silence followed. Then, kiss. On the Krell homeworld, the High Council exploded in shouting. She's a liar, cried General Torv. Humans are bluffing. That ship is all they have. But others weren't so sure. The energy readings from Neptune, they don't match any known tech, said a scientist. And that voice, he wasn't scared. He was warning us. On the Zarn Collective's trade hub, Merchants paused their deals. "Maybe we should stop selling weapons to anti-human groups," whispered one. "After that message," another replied, "I wouldn't risk it." Even on neutral worlds, people gathered in public squares, watching replays of Holt's face. "He sounds honest," said a young girl. "He sounds like someone who's seen war," said her father, "and doesn't want more." But not everyone listened. Deep in the Draco sector, Warlord Crax slammed his fist on a steel table. "Humans think they can scare us with words," he growled. "I say we test them." He turned to his fleet commander. "Send the Iron Fong. Full armament. I want that warship destroyed." His officer hesitated. "Sir, what if it's not alone?" Crax laughed. "One ship can't stop a battle cruiser." He didn't know the truth. Earth had more than one ship, and the Vanguard was just the messenger. Back near Vexus 7, Captain Holt watched enemy chatter flood the comms. "They're debating," said Mara. "Some want peace. Others want war." Holt nodded. "Good. Let them think." Then a new alert flashed. "Captain, a Draco battlecruiser just jumped into the system. It's heading straight for us. Weapons hot." The crew tensed. Holt didn't flinch. "Raise shields. Arm the pulse array. But don't fire yet." "Why not, sir?" "Because," he said, "we gave our word. We warned them. Now, we show them we meant it." The Vanguard turned slowly, facing the incoming ship. No cloak. No hiding. Just a black warship floating in the light of a dead star. Waiting. On the Iron Fong, Warlord Crax grinned. "There it is. Tiny little thing. Fire everything." Plasma cannons charged. Missile bays opened. But before they could fire, a sound filled their bridge. Not an explosion. A voice. "Last chance," said Holt over open comms. "Turn back." Crax laughed. "Fire." The Iron Fong unleashed its full power. Dozens of plasma bolts, 10 missiles, and an ion beam. The Vanguard didn't dodge. It just absorbed it all. Its hull glowed faint blue for a second, then went dark again. Silence. Then the Vanguard fired. Not a beam. Not a missile. Just a single pulse. The Iron Fong's lights died. Engines stopped. Weapons froze. In 3 seconds, a ship built to crush planets became a floating coffin. No one died, but no one could move either. Holt's voice returned. "You were warned." Then the Vanguard turned and flew away, leaving the helpless warship drifting in space. News spread faster than light. Draco ship disabled in seconds. Human tech is real and terrifying. They didn't kill. They showed mercy. For the first time, the galaxy didn't see humans as weak. They saw them as judges. Quiet, fair, and unstoppable. On Earth, hidden shipyards stayed dark. But deep in orbit, hundreds of dots blinked to life on a secret map. Waiting. Watching. Ready. Because the message was clear. We are not asking again. The Alliance thought they were hunting the Vanguard. They were wrong. It was hunting them. For weeks, the human warship had been seen near border zones, always alone, always vanishing after a warning. The Alliance High Command saw a chance. "A single ship can't win a war," said Admiral Relic. "But if we catch it, we break human morale forever." So they built a trap. They sent their best fleet, 12 heavy cruisers, 3 command carriers, and a new stealth hunter-killer ship called Shadow Dagger. Their plan was simple: lure the Vanguard into the cryo-asteroid belt, where rocks would block its escape. Then surround it. Overwhelm it. Capture it. What they didn't know: the Vanguard had been waiting for this moment. Captain Holt stood on the bridge, watching the Alliance fleet move into position on his screen. "They think we're chasing their decoy freighter," said Lieutenant Mara. Holt smiled. "Let them think that." Hours earlier, the Vanguard had attacked a small supply ship near Saturn. Just enough damage to look real, but no one hurt. The ship sent a fake distress call. Now, the Alliance fleet rushed in, eager, proud, and blind. "They're entering the belt now," said the sensor officer. "Good," Holt said. "Start Phase 2. Deep in the asteroid field, Hidden behind a frozen rock the size of a mountain, 3 more human ships powered up silently. They had been there for weeks. Waiting. Cloaked. Ready. On the Alliance command ship, Admiral Relic grinned. He took the bait, he said. Lock all weapons. Surround him. The fleet spread out like wolves closing in on a wounded deer. On their screens, the Vanguard drifted slowly, engines weak, shields flickering. He's damaged from the last fight, said the weapons officer. Easy target. But then, the freighter they'd been tracking? It vanished. Not exploded. Just gone. What? Relic frowned. Where did it go? Before anyone could answer, the asteroids around them began to move. Not naturally. On purpose. Hidden thrusters, planted by human drones weeks ago, fired inside dozens of rocks. The field shifted, closing exits like a closing fist. Sir, we're being boxed in. Then the comms lit up, not with enemy voices, but with calm, clear human speech. Admiral Relic, said Holt's voice. You came looking for a warship, but you walked into a cage. Relic's blood ran cold. Find the source, he shouted. Too late. The Vanguard dropped its cloak, not to fight, but to lead. It turned sharply and dove deeper into the belt. After it, Relic ordered. The fleet followed, firing wildly. But every shot missed. Because the Vanguard wasn't alone. From 3 hidden points, human warships, UNS Titan, UNS Prometheus, and UNS Daedalus, rose from behind asteroids. No warning, no grand speech, just silence and speed. Their systems linked through a quantum network, faster than light, unhackable. They moved as one mind. In 90 seconds, the Shadow Dagger's stealth failed, hit by an energy pulse it never saw coming. 2 cruisers lost power when their core reactors were remotely shut down by human AI viruses slipped in through old comms channels. The command carrier's weapons froze as its targeting system rebooted again and again. No explosions, no deaths, just total control. On the bridge of the Vanguard, Mara watched the enemy fleet go dark, one by one. All ships disabled, sir. No casualties. Holt nodded. Good. We're not monsters. Then he opened a channel, broadcast to every ship in the fleet. You sent a trap, he said. But you forgot one thing. He paused. We built this trap first. Silence. Then he added, you were never hunting us. We were hunting you. The words echoed across every deck, every cabin, every frightened heart in the Alliance fleet. Back at Alliance command, panic broke out. How did they know? Relic screamed. A young analyst whispered the truth. They've been inside our networks for years. Watching. Learning. Waiting. The galaxy had treated Earth like a ghost story. Now the ghost had teeth. And a plan. As the human ships powered down their weapons, the Vanguard hovered near the helpless command carrier. Holt gave one last order. Send them home. Let them tell their people what happened. Won't they attack again? Mara asked. They might, Holt said. But next time, they'll be afraid. And fear, he knew, was more powerful than any weapon. Across the galaxy, news of the trap spread like fire. Alliance fleet shut down in minutes. No shots fired, just total control. Humans didn't just win, they showed they're smarter. For the first time, empires didn't just fear human power. They feared human patience. Because if Earth could plan this far ahead, what else were they hiding? And how long had they been watching? Deep in the solar system, more lights turned on. Not just in shipyards, but in orbit, on the moon, beneath Mars. Humanity wasn't just rising. It was already here. And the galaxy would never underestimate it again. For 200 years, Earth hid. Now it rose. Not with a scream, but with silence and light. It started with a single signal. Sent from the UNS Vanguard, it flew across human space, not as a threat, but as a call. A call to arms. A call to truth. And one by one, the lights turned on. First, deep in the Oort cloud, a cloaked battleship powered up. Its hull, black as night, glowed faint blue along its edges. Then another. And another. Near Neptune, hidden inside ice caves, 5 more warships drifted out. Smooth, silent, weapons ready. On the moon, dust-covered hangars opened. Giant doors slid back, revealing ships that hadn't moved in a century. Beneath the oceans of Earth, submerged docks released fleets of fast attack cruisers. Sleek, silver, built for speed and stealth. And in orbit, around Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, dormant AI-controlled defense platforms woke up. Their sensors locked onto the stars. One by one. Then hundreds. Then 512 human warships stood ready across the solar system. All cloaked. All armed. All waiting for one order. At the Human Defense Council bunker, deep under the Pacific, Commander Alira Vance watched the live feed. Her screen showed every ship, every station, every weapon system. Green. Ready. She took a breath. Send the broadcast. Her assistant typed fast. A message went out, not just to the galaxy, but to every human colony, every listening ear, every spy, traitor, and soldier. This is Earth Command. We speak not as victims, not as beggars, but as equals. Then the screen changed. Not with words, with proof. A live view from space. The camera pulled back, showing the sun, the planets, and around them, hundreds of warships, now uncloaked, forming a perfect ring around the solar system. No weapons fired. No threats shouted. Just presence. Power. Truth. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. On the Krell homeworld, General Torv dropped his cup. It shattered on the floor. No, he whispered. It can't be. But it was. The feed showed more, orbital defense grids above Earth, energy shields forming around Mars, drone swarms guarding the asteroid belt. And at the center of it all, the UNS Vanguard, floating near Saturn, its silver eagle emblem glowing in the sunlight. They didn't just build one ship, Torv said, voice shaking. They built an army. In secret. A scientist beside him nodded. While we fought each other, they prepared for the future. In the Draco sector, Warlord Krax watched the same broadcast. He had laughed at humans before. Now, he stayed quiet. His officer asked, "What do we do, sir?" Krax stared at the screen. 500 warships, all perfectly still, all watching. "We do nothing," he said. "If they wanted us dead, we'd already be gone." He finally understood. This wasn't a show of war. It was a show of control. Back on Earth, in cities from Tokyo to Nairobi, people gathered in streets and squares. They hadn't known. For generations, they'd believed Earth was alone, weak, forgotten. Now they saw the truth. Their ancestors hadn't given up. They'd built a shield, a sword, a future. Tears fell. Cheers rose. Not for war, but for pride, for hope, for humanity. Captain Holt stood on the Vanguard's bridge, watching the global reaction on his screen. "We did it," Mara said softly. "No," Holt replied. "They did it. The engineers, the builders, the mothers who taught their kids to dream, the soldiers who kept watch in silence." He turned to his crew. "Now the galaxy knows. We don't want war. But we'll never bow." Then he opened a new channel, direct to the Galactic Council. "We offer peace," he said. "But it must be real. No spies. No borders crossed. No more lies." He paused. "Accept these terms, and humans will stand with you, not against you." It wasn't a threat. It was an invitation. Some empires refused. Others agreed fast. But all of them changed how they saw Earth. No longer a dead world. No longer a joke. Now, a superpower. Quiet. Ready. Unbreakable. As night fell on Earth, the solar system hummed with power. Lights shone from hidden bases. Ships patrolled silent orbits. And in the void, the Vanguard turned toward home, not in fear, but in victory. Humanity had hidden long enough. Now it stood tall. Not to conquer, but to protect, and to say once and for all, "We are here. We are strong, and we are not alone." 1 year had passed. Peace held. The galaxy had changed. Human space was now marked on every star map, not as a dead zone, but as protected territory. No ship crossed the border without permission. Trade ships asked politely. Scouts kept their distance. Even the Krell sent a formal message of respect. Earth was no longer ignored. It was watched, studied, feared, and slowly trusted. In orbit above Earth, the UNS Vanguard floated beside a new space station, built by human and alien engineers together. A symbol of peace. Captain Holt stood on the observation deck, sipping real coffee, a luxury after years in deep space. "Hard to believe," said Lieutenant Mara, joining him. "A year ago, they called us myths. Now they call us allies," Holt replied. But that could change. He wasn't wrong. Peace was fragile, and space was vast. On Earth, life returned to something like normal. Children learned about Project Titan in school, not as a secret, but as a lesson. Strength is not for showing off. It's for protecting those who can't protect themselves. Factories that once built weapons now helped rebuild broken worlds. Human medships flew to plague-stricken colonies. Engineers shared clean energy tech with desert planets. Humanity didn't rule the galaxy, but it led by example. Deep in the lunar archive, a young scientist named Ben adjusted a long-range telescope, the most powerful ever built. It didn't look for ships or weapons. It looked for signals, for patterns, for life. Most days, it found nothing. But tonight, it did. A pulse, faint, cold, coming from outside the Milky Way. Not from Andromeda. Not from any known galaxy. From the void between galaxies, a place no ship could reach, no signal should survive. And it repeated. Not random noise. A pattern. 3 pulses. Pause. 2 pulses. Pause. 5 pulses. Like counting. Like calling. Ben's hands shook as he ran the data. The signal matched no known language. But it had been sent on purpose. And it was growing stronger. He rushed to Earth Command. "They're not from our galaxy," he said, breathless. "This signal, it's ancient. Older than the Krell. Older than the Zarn. Maybe older than stars." Commander Vance studied the readout. Could it be a natural event? "No," Ben said. "It's too clean. Too precise. Someone, or something, is watching." A silence fell over the room. Then Vance spoke quietly. "Tell Captain Holt." On the Vanguard, Holt listened as Ben played the signal. Click, click, click. Pause. Click, click. Pause. Click, 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 click. Mara frowned. "It's like they're counting. 3, 2, 5. Holt's eyes narrowed. "Or sending coordinates." He turned to his AI. "Map the source." The screen filled with stars, then zoomed out, past the Milky Way, past the local group, into the endless black between galaxies. A single red dot blinked. Far. Cold. Waiting. "They hid from us," Holt said softly. "But who's hiding from them?" No one answered. Because no one knew. But the message was clear. Humanity had just stepped onto a much bigger stage. And the real test was only beginning. That night, Holt sent a quiet order. "Wake the Deep Fleet." Not the 500 ships near Earth, but the other ones. The ones built for long dark journeys. Stored beyond Pluto. Powered by suns in bottles. Crewed by volunteers who signed on for missions that might last lifetimes. They had a new destination. A new purpose. Not war. Not fear. Discovery. As the first deep-range scout ship powered up in the Oort cloud, Ben stood alone in the lunar archive, listening to the signal again. He played it one more time. Then, very softly, he whispered back into the microphone. "We hear you." Far away, in the infinite dark, something listened. And for the first time in a million years, it replied. Back on Earth, children looked up at the stars, not with fear, but with wonder. The galaxy was no longer a place of empires and war. It was a place of questions. And humanity, once thought weak, was now ready to seek the answers. Not with weapons, but with courage, curiosity, and the quiet strength of a species that refused to disappear. The screen fades to black. Text appears. The universe is bigger than we knew, and humanity is just getting started.